we also know for sure, Gerald, that the Suns are all in on being all in. They're not thinking about 2031.
No.
They're not thinking about any of that. In fact, you did some digging to confirm that.
I did. And a lot of people are stressing over moving that 2031 pick because of how potentially valuable it is. Because I've seen the meme of a slice of pizza cut up into 3, and it was like the Suns trying to get people to take their first rounders now. And I get it. The jokes are funny. But at the same time, like, no one should be surprised at how all in this team is, because they literally told us this at exit interviews less than 9 months ago when we spoke with Mat Ishbia and James Jones. Here's what they had to say.
And like I said, if fans like to look in the future and say, hey, I really like that 2031 draft pick because maybe that 7th grader is going to be really good and we're going to draft him and one day he's going to be a player. Like, you ain't going to like the Phoenix Suns because we're going to say draft picks are to get great players.
I said it before. We're not thinking about the 7th grader in 2031. We're talking about elite players who want to win, saying, how can we win today? How can we win tomorrow? How can we win the next 12 months? Devin's not thinking about 2031. Kevin's not thinking about 2031.
Shouts to that 7th grader that's just getting absolutely dumped on.
All the stage.
James Jones.
All the stage.
You think they have somebody in mind?
They're researching these middle schools.
There is a highlight video out there from Cam Potts.
Cam Potts.
Next up in the class of 2031.
Okay.
So they don't care about no Cam Potts.
They passed on that demon.
Yeah.
Tony Bueno said exactly what I felt like.
Yep.
Translating everything
F
that
them kids.
that James and Matt said.
But like, on the real, they have been very straightforward. And obviously the passage of time, new evidence, watching this team play for a whole season, that can change people's opinions. That's called growth, when you take new information and shift your mindset based on that. But they've been pretty straightforward from the start about what they're all about. They're trying to win a championship every single year. And whether that's realistic or not, whether trading this pick was a good idea or not, they've been pretty upfront. So we really can't, clutch our pearls and act surprised that they are being aggressive, that they're trading that pick and trying to divvy it up into multiple assets that they can try and get this deal done.
The Phoenix Suns are who they are. And I'm not saying you have to like it. And I actually do understand the mindset of people who are worried and maybe would have prefer an approach that is not like this, because what we are entering, I think, is not something that other teams have ever done.
Yeah.
Right? Other teams have gone all in. I don't think any other team will push the limits of what the NBA allows and what it means to truly be all in than the Phoenix Suns. And that's terrifying.
Yeah.
And that is so exciting.
It is.
Because I get it. There is a massive cliff that you're staring at and you might fall over it. But you might not.
Yeah.
Right? This is so crazy, it just might work. And I think you have to kind of accept as a Phoenix Suns fan that you kind of have no control over it. Like, it is what it is. They're going to go all in. You can sit back and say you don't like it, but you're going on the ride anyway. You know, you're buckled in, keep your arms and your legs inside, and you're shooting off at 1,000 miles per hour. Like, it's happening no matter what you want, man.
There will never be a dull moment. I can promise that. Maybe the on-court product hasn't been fun this year or last year. Maybe it'll get even worse down the road. We don't know. But I do think the way that this team continually gets itself out of corners when it feels like they're getting backed into one, the wheeling and dealing has not stopped, and I don't see it stopping anytime soon. And even for the people that think, okay, well, you trade for Jimmy Butler, you sign KD and Butler to extensions, this team doesn't win a championship, now you're left with aging players that you're not going to win anything with. They're going to find a way to wheel and deal again. You're going to get assets back when you blow it up. It's not going to be as much as you could get now for blowing it up, for sure. Like KD and Butler, they're both depreciating assets from a trade perspective. I totally get that. But if and when that day comes, at least you'll be able to look at this and say, we tried everything in our power to put a winning team around Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. Maybe we didn't do it right. Maybe we made mistakes, but at least the effort was there. And I would rather have an owner that is hell-bent on trying to win than one that, like the Lakers or the Warriors, is just wasting away their superstars' prime, what's left of it.
Can't say it any better than that. You would rather see attempts be put up than sitting back and passively watching time just passed by.
Think about the reports coming out of LA. LeBron, Anthony Davis, not a fan of the fact that they don't think that the Lakers could be, a team that actually goes all in, that consolidates their assets. You also have to understand that Mat Ishbia is not just doing this when it comes to like accumulating draft assets and trying to flip them or good players. It's investing in the players. He has made it so much easier to be an NBA player, right? Like the facilities, the health, like we've toured the facilities. We've seen the levels that this franchise is ascending to as far as being a destination for players. You don't turn away from that. You don't go around and say, you know what? We're going to try to be a destination for all the best stars in the league. I told you that I was going to compete when I first bought this team. I told you I was going to go all in at the end of last season. And guess what? Halfway through this one, I'm wrong. Like everybody would be like, oh, what a liar.
What an impetuous flip-flopping owner.
Right. It took you 2 years, right? It took you 2 years to go back on your word. And you don't have to like it, but he's already promised you what he's going to bring. And it's what Devin Booker wants. It's what Kevin Durant wants. It's why Jimmy Butler wants to come here. And it's why after we get through the Jimmy Butler saga, whether he ends up here or he doesn't, there's going to be another star on the list within the next couple of years whose number one destination is going to be the Phoenix Suns, because that is what this franchise is. And that's a destination. And they're not going to shoot 100%. They're not always going to get it right, but they'll probably be a destination if Book, Ishbia, and the lifestyle that you can get here is always on the table.
We all silly like the mayor.